What's up guys, it's Will here back again, and today we're here to do something very exciting. We're going to go through all the announcements by Hot Toys in 2024. There are 59 of them as of me recording this video, and we're going to go through and rank them by tier. So there's S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, and D tier, and we're going to waste absolutely no time. Guys, make sure to like the video down below, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you don't miss any content in the world of 1/6 scale collecting when it goes live on this channel. That said, let's start with the Hot Toys DeLorean Time Machine for $805. So this is the DeLorean Time Machine from Back to the Future 3. There have been other DeLoreans released that are very strong releases that collectors are very happy with, and this is a different type of version. This is sort of cowboy Back to the Future version. I've seen the first two Back to the Future films. I've not seen the third one as of yet. So as of this one, I mean, I doubt that this one is going to be the most iconic representation for most collectors, but that's going to be totally up to you. Are you looking for a Back to the Future 3 DeLorean? If so, this would be the one for you. But for me, I just don't feel like this one is absolutely essential for most collectors, albeit still a very good release, which is why I think I'm gonna label this one a B tier. So what we have here is the Hot Toys Black Manta figure from the Aquaman 2 film, $255 for a retail price, coming out between January to June of 2025. I think for most people, guys, this is going to be an easy pass. Look, does this figure look good? Yes. Is this a figure that people wanted when the DC was riding high, particularly when Aquaman was making $1 billion? Probably. I think there were at least a decent amount of collectors out there who wanted it. But now that the DCEU is dead and James Gunn has come in and created a new DC universe, this character is no more. And while it looks cool, I'm just not sure this one's going to be deemed essential for most collectors. I do think overall it looks like a good figure. I do think overall the proportions look good. This is going to be a figure that stands out on your shelf because of the red eyes. Without it lit up, I am a little bit sus about how that's going to look on your shelf. I am also a little bit worried about the suit material and the longevity of that, but I guess only time will tell. I've not owned a Black Manta figure from third party or anywhere else, so it's hard to say definitively. For me, I just think this figure looks cool, but it's the character to me that's a little bit questionable, and when you think about it that way, I gotta say this one is a C tier. All right, guys, so what we have here is the Hot Toys Ash from the League of Legends line. Hot Toys came out kind of out of the gate strong with the League of Legends line, announcing a few figures, and people thought, oh, this is going to be a deep line. Turns out they've kind of slowed down quite a bit on this line. Maybe sales are not quite as good as they expected. Maybe they only plan to do a handful of them. Who knows? $305 for this character. I am not a League of Legends fan. I had friends in college that were huge fans of the game that played it all the time. So I'm not overly familiar with this character. I am excited that Hot Toys is making things outside of their normal range or their normal scope. And collectors out there who love video games are getting these type of figures. And, you know, they're expanding the horizons and bringing new people into the hobby of 1/6 scale collecting by creating these types of figures. I do think this looks pretty cool. As far as video game characters go, if this is your character, great. This is not for me though. For $305, this is an absolute easy pass. I don't think this is gonna be one that most collectors in our community really are gonna care that much about. So for me, regardless of how this looks, I think the price is a bit high considering, sorry, I'm so sick. The price is a bit high considering what you're getting here for $305. Maybe it's the character, maybe it's the license, maybe it's the base, who knows? I'm gonna go D tier for this one. So next up, we have the Hot Toys Han Solo from the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi line, $290. Excuse me if my voice is giving out just a little bit. I'm still a little bit sick, and that's why I haven't been able to make this video for a while, but we're gonna get it done. We have a new head sculpt here, a new hair piece. I'm still not crazy about the hair, but I've come around just a little bit. I originally said it was pretty ass. I think it looks a lot better now that I'm looking at it a little bit more intently, and I went back and watched the film. I still don't think it's perfect though. I'm looking at this head sculpt and I see a really good likeness, and I see a hairpiece that's letting this figure down just a little bit. I like the base, although it is a platform base. All the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary have that, so it's gonna prop them all up in your display. They're gonna have to be back row figures. But head sculpt overall likeness is really good. I'm hoping that the final product comes out as good as this looks. But I am hoping they make modifications to the hairpiece, because I do think it's a little bit sort of hairpiece-like and a little bit bulky and big. Yes, Harrison Ford kind of had that look in the film, but I think this one's a little bit exaggerated. I think it could be toned down just a little bit to make it a little more lifelike. That said, I am happy people are getting a Han Solo. I still think the A New Hope one is better, but this one is still good. I'm hoping they make an A New Hope one and remake that version to give it an updated head sculpt and all that good stuff. But yeah, nonetheless, I think this is pretty cool. I think a lot of people have been really hungry for a Han Solo. So I'm gonna give this Han Solo a B tier. All right, guys, so we have here the Peter Parker Superior Suit Spider-Man, $285 retail price. This one looks incredible. This is one of the best looking Hot Toys Spider-Man figures I personally have ever seen. I think the texture on the suit and the overall color scheme is incredible. I think the gauntlets, everything about this figure, even the nails are just just awesome. You got red spider claws with black lenses. This thing is incredible. It's a very distinct, very unique suit and has very strong comic book origins that are going to satisfy the comic book readers out there. For the non-comic book readers, I could see people picking this up because it looks cool, even though they don't have a connection to it, which I do find that to be a habit that can be questionable long-term because it could be the first figure you end up selling when you need space. But regardless of that, I think the figure looks incredible. Do a lot of people have a connection to it? The comic book fans do, and I think there are a lot of those out there. For fans like myself that are more connected to the character through video games and film, it's questionable. But the figure looks fantastic. I'm really excited that people are going to be getting this in. I mean, I had it on pre-order, but I'm not sure I'm going to follow through on it just because I think over time I'm like, do I really have a connection to this? Not really, but we're going to see. Nonetheless, everything is considered here. I'm going to go B tier for this one. So next up, we have the Hot Toys Ahsoka Padawan figure from the Ahsoka TV series, and this one is $255 retailing on Sideshow. Is soon to be shipping actually from January to June of 2025, like most of these figures that we're going to start on the list are. This looks great. I mean, I just think for a lot of people, this is not the Ahsoka that's going to be definitive for you. If you really want that young Padawan Ahsoka and you love the character that much, then sure, this could be a really good choice for you. But I think at the end of the day, when you have Clone Wars Ahsoka out there, when you have Mando Ahsoka out there, and now you're going to have an Ahsoka series Ahsoka out there, and of course, more to come as she appears in more content, how many Ahsokas does one person need? And I do think a lot of people are going to draw the line somewhere, and they're probably going to draw it at this one. Looking at the figure itself, I think it's well done. I think any other younger female characters that Hot Toys might want to tackle in the future, maybe they can use this body and just not have it be orange. So hopefully it leads to more beneficial things in the future. I think the tailoring, the head sculpt, overall, it looks good. For $255 though, I think for a lot of people that's probably going to be a pass regardless of how it looks, just because it's not the version of Ahsoka that most are going to be going after. But let me know in the comments if you disagree with that. With all that considered though, I'm going to say that this one overall is probably more of a C tier. So what we're looking at here is the Hot Toys Mandalorian Super Commando. This is actually a really cool figure for $265. It's from the Ahsoka TV series, and you can see here it's a Mandalorian with a Darth Maul looking helmet, which I think is pretty cool. I think this is a unique looking figure, and there are a lot of trooper collectors out there that I think are going to be very interested in this thing. It was a bestseller for quite some time. It still may be, as far as I'm aware. This figure has actually been one that I think collectors, again, who really lean into that trooper lifestyle, really are looking for forward to adding to their collection. So for me, though, I think this one's pretty cool. I do think it has a Darth Maul sort of horn-like helmet. It's not going to be something that I'm going to resonate with, despite the fact that it looks cool. Again, I'm not sure that everyone's going to go after this if you're not a trooper collector. If you are a trooper collector, yeah, absolutely. This thing is great. It's really cool. Got a cool red color scheme. But I'm just thinking about the character here and what its meaning is going to be to you on a shelf. And that's where I think I have my questions. The quality of the figure does look good. I do think it is a little bit basic, but that's the character, right? The character is basic. It's a trooper type character, right? So I do think overall, it's a great looking figure, but it's not going to be one I think that ends up in my collection. And nonetheless, look, I think it's good, but for me, I think this one's going to be more of a C tier. I think it's C tier because it's good, just not that essential for most people, in my opinion. But if you disagree, let me know in the comments below. Sorry, my voice is giving out puberty. You know the deal. And next up, we have Shin Hati retailing for $280 on the Sideshow website. This is from Ahsoka, the TV series, the apprentice of Baylan Skoll, General Baylan Skoll. So I do think overall this one is super exciting. For a lot of fans who love the Ahsoka show or maybe thought it was pretty good, this is a figure that people didn't think they would actually end up getting. So I do think this one's going to be pretty popular. I think the head sculpt is very strong. I hope it doesn't soften further, because actually right now I do think it's a little bit soft, and I do think it could be improved just a little bit. I think overall the likeness is there. The paint apps are there, but I do think it could be a little bit better. The quality of the tailoring is good. I think this one's going to stand out on a shelf. And of course, Shin was a highlight character from the show. She became a bit of a, I guess, social media phenomenon, if you will, on TikTok and other places. So I really like the performance here. I like the character, and I'm excited to see where this character actually goes in further Ahsoka seasons rather, or maybe even in other shows if she wants to show up, if they want to do crossovers and all that good stuff. So I do think this one looks really good. The likeness is definitely there. I do think, again, it's a little bit soft, and hope it doesn't soften further and people get disappointed. But I think it comes with enough. The price is reasonable. The character is unique. Are you going to get another opportunity anytime soon? We'll see. I think overall this one's good. I'm excited for it. I'm going to be picking this one up. I got to give this one a B tier, guys. I think we're going to go B tier on this one. And next up, we're going to talk about Baylan Skoll. $285 from the Ahsoka TV series, expected to ship Q1 to Q2 of 2025. I do think this one looks great. It's also from the Ahsoka TV series, obviously. Ray Stevenson did an amazing job. He was absolutely one of the highlights of the show, and his passing is super unfortunate. I think, honestly, I hope that they recast the character, to be honest, because it's such a cool and unique and compelling character that I don't think that they should let him just sort of fade away into the sunset. I think Ray Stevenson did an amazing job, but I do think it would be important to continue the legacy of this character and keep it progressing. So I think this is awesome. I think the likeness is really good. Again, I do think this one's a little bit soft, just like Shin. I do think overall the likeness is there, but the paint apps could be improved just a little bit. And I think they probably will, I'm hoping. I mean, you never know with Hot Toys. Sometimes they improve, sometimes they don't. But I think overall this figure is going to be satisfying to most collectors. It's good to sort of have a rogue, former Jedi mercenary. I think this is a really cool, character overall. A really cool, compelling character arc. And I think a really cool design that's going to look really great on your shelf. I think with the cloak, that's where he looks his best. Having the saber and the cloak, I think, really just makes him shine with his costume design. But for me, this is going to be one I pick up with Shin as long as it comes out good. So I am excited about that. And yeah, I think we got to be consistent here, guys. I think we got to go a B tier for this one. And you probably wondered, are we counting Hono Studios? We are. So we're going to talk about the Hono Studios Magneto for $175. The Hono Studios line is a Hot Toys sub-brand, if you will. It's actually offering figures at a discounted rate, mostly from the comic book lines from Marvel as of now. And this is pretty cool. For Magneto comic book fans, I think this is a nice offering. I do think it's going to be one that, again, it's meant to be an introductory experience to introduce you to 1/6 collecting and get you to buy the higher price figures from Hot Toys once you get that sort of introductory taste, if you will, of the Hono Studios figures. But I think this looks pretty cool. If you're a comic book fan and you really love this Magneto iteration and you love this character design, then this could be a really nice pickup. For $175, it doesn't come with a whole hell of a lot, but that's kind of the whole deal with Hono Studios. That's the approach. They're trying to make it as budget friendly as possible, give you a sort of comic book backdrop, even though they don't give you the actual comic book, but they give you the backdrop stand. Nonetheless, it still looks cool. I think people are going to like this one. It's not going to be at all for me, but I think just basing it off our community, yeah, I think people are going to be interested, but not over the moon, which is why, to me, kind of mid, right? Other people, yes, higher, sure, it's all subjective. I'm going to go C tier for this one just for those reasons. So what we have here is Hot Toys Fuckboy Anakin, Thirst Trap Anakin, if you will. $265 is Anakin from the Clone Wars from the Ahsoka TV series. And I honestly really like this figure. I think the head sculpt is fantastic. I've never loved his Clone Wars outfit, but a lot of people do find it to be iconic and they do like it. I prefer the simplistic Jedi robe from the prequel trilogy, particularly Revenge of the Sith. That's where I like his hair the best and his overall robed look. So that's my favorite look for Anakin, my iconic definitive look for him. But I think this head sculpt is good. A lot of people don't like it. They think he has sort of a thirst trap type look to him. I think that's how he looked in the show, guys. So unfortunately, I think it is accurate to the show. I think the likeness is there. They de-aged Hayden Christensen for this scene specifically, and I do think overall it looks like a young Anakin Skywalker, a young Hayden Christensen. I really like this a lot. I don't know if I'm going to end up keeping this one just because I don't know how it's going to fit into my collection, considering I'm getting the Artisan Anakin, and they're going to make a Dark Side Artisan Anakin at some point, so I'm kind of holding out for that one. I do think this looks cool. Again, if you love Clone Wars and you want a more lifelike depiction of the character, then this would certainly be that for you. So for me, I think overall this is good. I think people are going to be interested. It's Anakin. People always love their Anakin. I'm going to go B tier for this one. B tier. And next up, we're looking at the Armored Batman 2.0, $370 on Sideshow for the deluxe version, $300 for the standard version, and this one is actually pretty cool. If you're a big Snyder fan, fans of the Snyder Cut, fans of the Snyderverse, then this is going to be a figure that's probably going to be of interest to you. Obviously, it is a 2.0. They did make some improvements. They do have a new diorama display base, and of course, you have a USB-powered Kryptonian spear, Kryptonite spear, that I think is pretty cool as well. The battle damage on this one is actually pretty great. The Ben Affleck head sculpt underneath, I do think looks good enough. I don't see a likeness entirely, but I see enough to make it worthwhile considering he has a big helmet on his face. You're not going to be looking too closely due to the size of this figure about how much it looks like Ben Affleck. As long as it's pretty close, you're going to be happy. I think they're pretty close. You're going to be happy. I think this armor is bulky, it's big, it's heavy, so you got to consider that before purchasing. But I love the detail on it, the intricacies in the scratching, the detail, the weathering. I think overall, this is a very unique look for Batman. It's a very heavy armored sort of militaristic type of look compared to the more, I guess, militaristic suits, but more sleek looks for like the Dark Knight and other suits. This one to me, yeah, it does look pretty cool. I'm not the biggest Snyderverse fan in the world, but you can see the die-cast metal armor parts, which is also pretty cool. Look, if you're a Snyderverse fan, I think this is going to be interesting to you. If you're not, then you're not going to be interested. Since the universe is dying, are people still interested? That's the question. It's hard to answer that, honestly. I'm going to say some are, but I think this figure is just so cool that I got to give it a B tier. Even though it's not for me, I got to give it a B tier. And now we got the goats to rule all goats. We got the Hot Toys Darth Revan figure from Knights of the Old Republic, retailing for $270. This is a figure that we weren't sure would ever get made, actually. And when it did pop up for pre-order, we were like, oh no, this thing is an absolute dopo. Easy. I think for most of us who've played Knights of the Old Republic, I'm probably going to end up buying 2 of these. I haven't officially committed to that yet, but I do have one on pre-order with Josh at Comic Concepts. We'll see if I end up grabbing a second one. Guys, I'm not even going to beat around the bush. This is an S tier. This is an absolute S tier figure. This thing has been one of the best sellers for quite a while now. I think people were so excited about this one when it was announced because we never thought we would get Hot Toys Revan. There's so many custom Darth Revans out there that are all, actually most of them pretty solid, but we never thought Hot Toys would actually jump into Legends material and make a figure like this, and they have. And this is one of the most powerful Force users of all time in all of the Star Wars galaxy. And the character is just incredible. I do hope we see him in live action, or at least Knights of the Old Republic remake before long, but who knows when we're going to actually see this character. Regardless, he's incredible. Great costume design, incredible character. And if you haven't, researched this character, please do. Please play Knights of the Old Republic or do some research about him. But I think you're going to love him if you're a Star Wars fan. He's just incredible. This is absolutely an S tier figure. Incredible, incredible, incredible. I am super excited to get it. So S tier all the way, baby. And next up, we have the Lord Starkiller Hot Toys figure retailing for $270. This is another one that people didn't think they would ever actually get. This is actually a Sith Stalker outfit from the DLC from the first game, which is pretty interesting because I played the first game upon Kiko's recommendation, and I played through the entire game and I was like, where's the armor? And then I realized it comes a little bit later. It's a whole separate thing, but I actually love this look. I think this is actually the coolest look for Starkiller. I know people really wanted a head sculpt for Galen Merrick, and I think that's something that a lot of people really were looking forward to. But at the end of the day, you know what? If this figure gets made or doesn't get made based on the head sculpt, if that's the determining factor, then I'm all about the Sith Stalker look and really making this figure worthwhile. It does have pleather. That is unfortunate, but nothing lasts forever, as Vision said. And, that's why things are beautiful, because nothing lasts forever, right? Get philosophical on you. But, we got lightsabers here. One of them is USB powered, which is pretty cool. You got a really unique and tailored outfit. Again, this is from the Force Unleashed, so I think it's a pretty cool thing that Hot Toys is going into Legends material and video games and making these type of characters that people want. I love this outfit. I love this character. I think he's going to look incredible on a shelf. I can't imagine you would put this guy on your shelf and think he's not one of the best figures in your entire display. The outfit is incredible. Hot Toys picked it for a good reason. And I just love everything about the fact that Hot Toys is doing something like this from Legends and how good this actually turned out. We'll see in the final product, but I'm assuming it's going to come out as good as advertised here. So this one, guys, is absolutely S tier. S tier all the way for this one. So here we have the Hot Toys Stormtrooper with Death Star environment, $240. This one is another Stormtrooper with a Death Star environment. So again, there are a lot of Trooper collectors out there, and I do think there are going to be a lot of people who really like this sort of original Trooper look. I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, with the backdrop, I think that's going to be something that you're going to want to have room to display. But if you want to get multiple Troopers, you could easily army build with this thing. It is going to get expensive, like any Trooper army building does. These aren't Black Series, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, they look pretty cool. I do think you have an LED light up function there that looks pretty solid. And it's a Stormtrooper, right? So for me, I don't know if I'm going to judge this one too harshly. I think it looks good. It's simplistic, but I think it does the job. I mean, Stormtroopers have a pretty basic design, but they are iconic in their own way. So for me, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give this thing a B tier because it does what it's supposed to do. It's good. It's a Stormtrooper. B tier. So here we have the Hot Toys BT1 retailing for $220. This is a comic inspired character where he works with 000, 000, the comic book Star Wars character, the droid assassin. So I think this is pretty cool. For me though, I don't think it's cool enough for most people. I think there are going to be diehard comic book readers out there similar to the Marvel fans that I just talked about with other figures that really support this figure. But to me, this just looks like another droid, unfortunately, with a couple more assassin-like parts. So for me, I'm not crazy about this one. I think it honestly looks like a sort of a repaint type of figure. I mean, I know it's a unique type of design, at least a little bit. There are some intricacies that are different than other droids that have been out there. I totally understand that. But for me, I don't think this one's unique enough to warrant a purchase. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that this one is D tier. This might be my most controversial choice yet, but let me know in the comments below. So here we have the Shadow Trooper with the Death Star environment retailing for $240. This one actually has a Death Star environment similar to the other Stormtrooper, but it's red instead of white in the LED. I think it's pretty cool. This does have, I mean, it's all black. It has a sort of Death Trooper-like look to it, but not quite as cool. It has some weathering to it, as you can see on the body and the helmet and all that type of stuff with the armor. This is sort of a soft, I guess, reboot, if you will. I know this was a figure that was released prior. I'm not sure if the Death Star backdrop was included the first go around, but now you have a figure that's pretty similar to something that's already been out there. It's the same with the Stormtrooper too as well, to be fair, but it has the pauldron, which I love. I always love a good pauldron on a trooper. I think that looks pretty cool. It gives them a sort of rounded design, which I really like. For me, like this is a Shadow Trooper. I don't know how excited I get about it. Again, if you're a Trooper collector, I think this is going to be a little bit more exciting to you. For me, guys, I think this is a C tier. It's a C tier. It's very mid. Let's say that. All right, guys, and what we have here is the Hot Toys Darth Maul with Sith Speeder. There's also a regular version without the Sith Speeder for $285. With the Sith Speeder, it's about $120 more for $405. Got S tier. S tier. We don't need to talk too much more about this. This is a 2.0. It's a remake of the original figure from the Phantom Menace, which was already an incredible figure, but not everyone was thrilled with the paint application insofar as the color scheme on the head sculpt, because the red was not quite the right shade. It wasn't quite screen accurate. Some people preferred the Sideshow version even, which is pretty wild considering Hot Toys generally blows them out of the water more often than not. This thing's absolutely incredible. These head sculpts look insanely lifelike. I don't think I've seen many head sculpts from Hot Toys that are more lifelike than these two, and I absolutely want to use both of them. I'm probably going to keep my original Darth Maul and try to put the second head on that body, because I genuinely want to display both bodies, because these head sculpts are so good, and I want to display both those head sculpts in my display. The robe definitely looks to be improved. They talked about how they fixed that one this time. The first robe honestly was a piece of shit. It honestly did not work very well. I think it was just a pain in the ass to use, so I never used it. This Darth Maul is incredible, an iconic character, an iconic performance. You have two beautiful head sculpts with rolling eyeballs. Look at the upgrades there. It's a massive improvement. I think it's at least a 20 to 30% improvement. It's awesome. I'm getting it with the Sith Speeder. It has a USB light up function this time, which I'm pretty excited about. So I ordered this immediately. I cannot wait to get this one in hand, guys. This is absolutely an S tier in every sense of the definition. So what we have here, guys, is the Hot Toys Kamen Rider, the battle damage figure. This is one actually that was released and announced as a Hong Kong Hot Toys exclusive. So Sideshow did not actually carry this one on their website. This is one you had to pick up from a reseller or somewhere else. This is one that, look, it's a cool looking figure. I think there are a lot of people in the world who love Kamen Rider. Clearly, in the United States and in the West in general, I feel like Kamen Rider is not that big of a thing, at least as far as I'm aware. So to me, it's just not that interesting of a figure. I do see some pretty cool intricacies in the battle damage and the overall armor design, but I just think this one has very little appeal to me and to most collectors in our circles. So for that reason, I feel like I have to give it a D tier. I just feel like I'm not seeing a lot here that's really appealing to me. So D tier. So guys, we have the Hot Toys Umbra Arc Trooper here for $265. This is a limited edition exclusive figure that actually became pretty popular on the secondary market. A lot of people decided they wanted this after the fact, or they wanted it maybe before the fact and were just unable to acquire it. Regardless, this is actually a pretty unique and cool trooper. So I do rely on the trooper collectors to fill me in on this one. I think it's a unique enough trooper to be worthwhile for some people, because again, if you're a trooper guy and you like a unique looking trooper, this is certainly the one. It has the color scheme, has a unique look to it, a good combination of black and yellow, and of course a double pauldron. Like I said, I love my pauldrons on my troopers. Nothing wrong with that, I would say. But at the end of the day, this is a unique trooper. I do think people are going to be interested in it, and they have been clearly. I think the interest is going to last for quite a while, is what I'm trying to say. I'm sick, bear with me. But you know, I think overall this is probably a B tier. I think it's got to be a B tier figure, because as far as troopers go, this is unique, it's cool, and it certainly has some presence on the shelf. So we're gonna go B tier. All right, guys, so now we're looking at the Hot Toys Jack Sparrow. There is an artisan version and there is a deluxe version. The only difference really being that the cap is actual material, like fabric material on the artisan version versus on the deluxe version where it's not. And you also have wool-rooted hair, which is, I think, a little bit different on the artisan version compared to the deluxe version. Regardless, both are absolutely incredible. I secured the artisan version. I'm super excited about that. This is one of the most iconic characters in cinema history. I think the Pirates franchise is certainly one of the most successful franchises in film film history, and I do love most of the films. Dead Man Tell No Tales I thought was actually pretty good. I don't think it's a stellar film, but it was good. Thought it was solid. Pirates 3 was pretty good. Pirates 1 and 2 are incredible, and Pirates 4 is horrible. So there are, I think this character is long-lasting. This character is iconic. This is a character that's going to be in people's memories, in their memory banks for nostalgic purposes for a really long time. So I'm very happy that Hot Toys decided to revisit this one and remake him in an incredible format, because let me tell you, the DX15, this original version of this figure is absolutely stunning, and I actually still have that, and I'm waiting to see how I can compare it to this new one. This thing is it's just incredible. The amount of detail in the outfit, the likeness is just off the charts good. This thing, guys, is absolutely S tier. There's no question about it. It's S tier in every sense of the definition. Again, I think this got the community in an absolute frenzy, and rightly so. I cannot wait to get this one in. You're going to be able to do so much with this guy. Absolutely S tier, no doubt about it. Next up, we have our good old boy Chrome Cody, retailing for $260. So what was funny about this one is it is an exclusive figure, but it lasted on Sideshow's website for quite a while. We've seen this trend with certain figures, even really well done ones, but at this point in time, exclusive figures were selling pretty quickly. People were feeling that FOMO and buying them out pretty fast. Not with this one though. This is one that a lot of collectors were like, I think this is one that I can pass on, and I think rightly so. Cody is obviously a very important Star Wars character, an iconic Star Wars character to most, but at the same time, do you really need a Chrome version? At what point do collectors draw the line and say, do I actually need this? And I think this is probably where they drew that line. And at the end of the day, it's Chrome, it's Cody. Is it really all that essential? No. And does it look kind of cool? Maybe, I don't know, but every figure looks cool in its own way, right? And when you're looking at the competition in the marketplace right now and all the cool figures you can pick up, I think you got to consider this guy a D tier. He's just not that important in this format. And here we have the assassin droid from the Star Wars comics. I'm not sure, honestly, if he's called 000 or 000. Regardless, I call him Darkside C-3PO. People don't always love that, but here we are nonetheless. $285, guys. This was an exclusive version of this figure, actually. And I think it's pretty cool. Again, it's C-3PO, but he kills people, right? I think that's cool. I think, more power to you. He's got red light up eyes. I think it's a cool looking figure. Again, if you're a big fan of this character, I could see why you would like it. To me, it's Darkside C-3PO, and it's not going to be for me, but I can look at it objectively and say, you know what? I do think it's for a decent amount of people. And BT1 obviously goes with him, so I get it. People are going to get mad that I gave him a lower score, but I do think that Darkside C-3PO looks a little bit cooler. I do like this one. I think he's pretty unique. I like it. It's not going to be for me. So for that reason, every reason that I've just mentioned, we're going to go ahead and give him a B tier. I'm gonna satisfy you guys on this one. I'm gonna give you a B tier on 000. There you go. So now we're looking at the Hot Toys Clone Trooper, the gold chrome version, for $260. This one is another Hot Toys exclusive because they knew this is probably not gonna be one that everyone is gonna sign up for. So let's make it exclusive, get a little bit of FOMO out there, some artificial scarcity, get people to buy this figure that's probably pretty cheap for us to produce. For all those reasons, look, guys, it's gold. It's going to pop on the shelf. I get it. Troopers are cool. People love their troopers, and it's gold. I get it. It's exclusive. I get it. I understand. I understand why people want these things. It just, for me, this screams inessential. And, unless you're a trooper collector and you just want every trooper, I understand that. But I just feel like there are so many other good offerings that just don't appeal to me as much as this one. And it may appeal to you, and that's great. And you may rate it a little bit higher on your tier system. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a C tier. I just think there's not a lot here that really excites me. Gold is cool. I like gold. I don't know how many carats this is, but I do think gold is cool. Gold is cool. I like it. But you know what? Let's just call this one what it is. Let's call it a C tier. And here we have the artisan edition of the Luke Skywalker, the Dark Empire version. You also have a special edition, which is not artisan, with sculpted hair. So either one, we're gonna look at the artisan edition that is an exclusive figure. Guys, this is pretty cool. Again, I was surprised that they actually did this because I did not think that they would make an artisan figure of an obscure character like this. It's Luke Skywalker. He's not obscure. I get that. But this version of Luke is an obscure version. Why not do the Empire version or a New Hope Farm Boy Luke or Return of the Jedi? Something like that, right? Instead of a Dark Empire Luke. This seems like a Howard Chan passion project, the CEO of Hot Toys, if you weren't aware. And I think that's kind of why this one exists in the format that it does. I do think people are pretty excited about it. It's a cool iteration. It's unique, right? It is artisan, which is pretty cool. It's just, for me, it's Dark Luke, right? He has some Darth Vader parts mixed with some Luke Skywalker parts and a Luke Skywalker head sculpt. I still don't think it really looks that close to Mark Hamill, but I think that's the intent here. I don't think they really went for a Mark Hamill per se. They almost went for a mixture of like comic book and Mark Hamill. And I think when you consider that approach, probably pretty close, right? So I think it's fine. It's reasonable. It's within that reasonable range. So I think overall, good, right? Let's give it a B tier for this one, B tier. And what we have here is the grail to rule all grails. The Hot Toys God Loki, the Artisan Edition for $445, and you have the regular edition for $290. But the Artisan Edition has that wool-rooted hair, so we're gonna look at that one because it's just incredible. This head sculpt is awesome. This hair is awesome. The throne is awesome. The character is great. It's one of the best Marvel character in my opinion, but you're gonna have to let me know your favorite in the comments below. It comes with the throne from the end of season 2 of Loki, which is incredible, and of course the strands of time, which he really makes connect all together, which is great. Loki's arc really comes full circle, and I do hope we see him again. This is going to take some display space if you decide to display him this way, which this is his iconic look from the end of the season. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. Don't ask me yet because I'm not sure. Yeah, but honestly, I'm not. You're gonna have to help me with that one. But this is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Best Tom Hiddleston head sculpt they've done so far as a prototype is concerned. And of course, the outfit is certainly iconic as it is Loki's really final culmination type of outfit as of now, at least. And you have a gold throne. It's just awesome. Dude, this thing is just, I cannot wait for this thing. I got this thing. I dopoed it, obviously. I jumped in the queue. I was super excited. This is absolutely an S tier figure. It's an S tier. You might disagree, but it's an S tier. All right, so the exclusive Imperial Commando by Hot Toys, $255, limited edition of 2,500 units. This is not one that's really going to be for me again, right? I'm not the biggest trooper guy. I get a lot of shit for live streams. Check us out on live streams, by the way. Me and Kiko collects, and of course we have Natalie G and Dean the Dream every Friday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern. Check those out. They're a lot of fun. Come hang out with us live where we talk about this stuff. I got a lot of shit for my take on these troopers. So let me know in the comments below if you agree or not. Which hopefully you don't, but we're gonna find out. Imperial Commando. I think it looks pretty cool. It does kind of look. People are gonna hate me for this. It does kind of look a little Halo to me. It does look a little Master Chief, like a Halo armor to me, which is kind of cool. I'm fine with that. I dig it. It's unique for Star Wars. I like it. It's a unique looking trooper, so I'm all about it. I think it's pretty cool. To me, it's kind of mid, right? I don't think it's the most exciting trooper I've ever seen. It's a lot of white. It does have a unique look to it insofar as it's kind of Halo looking, right? But guys, I'm gonna have to go C tier. I'm gonna have to go C tier. I just don't sense a lot of excitement for this one on my end and just from other people. So I do think people are excited for it. I'm not saying no one wants it, but just with all the good things we have right now, this has got to be a C tier. So what we have here is the Hot Toys Obi-Wan Kenobi Mandalorian armor version for $265. This one was also another exclusive figure. Guys, I don't like this head sculpt. I think overall it looks cool if you have the Mandalorian armor on him, but that kind of defeats the purpose of it being an Obi-Wan Kenobi Mandalorian armor, because then at that point, you don't even have the Obi-Wan head on him to really know what the fuck's even going on. So for me, this likeness is not quite there. I don't like the beard on this one. It's okay. It's maybe better than the Revenge of the Sith one, but I don't think that Obi-Wan, his head sculpt for Ewan McGregor has really been nailed yet. I think this is a Mandalorian armor. It's very niche anyway, and you have a head sculpt that's not that great in my opinion, so it just compounds the disappointment that I feel looking at this figure. Again, I hope you like it a little bit more. For me, guys, this has got to be a C tier. I think a disappointing head sculpt, an armor that I feel like it's just not. It's not going to be for everyone. I get it. It's niche. It's kind of off the beaten path. I get it. We're going to go C tier for this one. Got to go C tier. So Darth Sidious from Hot Toys, $265. You have a collector's edition and a special edition. Same price. Special edition comes with that dark side coin. If you want it, great. You can jump on the wait list. If not, you don't need it. It's fine. It's just a coin. You're all good. But what you have here is a episode 3 Darth Sidious, with people have been really excited for. I'm actually really excited for this one. I dopoed this one. I've been super thrilled to get a Palpatine in my collection again. And I really like this look. I do actually kind of prefer the episode 3 to the original trilogy version. I do like the brown cloak on this one. The black on the shoulders I think is pretty cool. And again, I grew up on the prequels. The original trilogy I do love in its own for its you know, flaws and for its strengths, but I do think the prequels, you know, I don't love all the prequel films, but Revenge of the Sith I do. I absolutely love that film. So flaws and all, I love that film, and I think this is a great head sculpt for Palpatine. He does look a little ghoulish. I totally understand that, but I do think this is an iconic look for the character and one that really does represent Ian McDiarmid pretty closely from the film. So I got to get this one. I'm super excited about it. I love the teeth on this one. I love the moving eyes, the robes, and of course you got a USB powered lightsaber. I think we got to go A tier for this one. A tier. So what we have here is the Hot Toys Batman and Bruce Wayne Armory Set 2.0. and this is super exciting. This is actually from The Dark Knight. It's $565 from Hot Toys. You get a Bruce Wayne, you get a Batman, you get a cool armory. I think it's pretty exciting. It is a remake. Obviously, it's a 2.0, a remake of an older version, which I think came out about 11 years ago, which is pretty crazy to think about. I think overall, the more I look at this Bruce Wayne head sculpt, the more I actually like it. I still don't think it's perfect Christian Bale. He's a little too pale, I would say. Christian Pale, as some might call him. But overall, it's pretty good. It's definitely Hot Toys' best crack at Bruce Wayne, Christian Bale. And I think it's pretty cool. I think the Batman is certainly going to be their best Batman figure they've made to date. I've been incorporating the wait for in-art strategy, but I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to wait if this one turns out as good as it looks with the updated and revised armor and, of course, the armory. I don't think I really have space for the armory, but I do want this Batman. So I'm kind of conflicted, kind of torn. We're going to find out how that turns out for me, so stay tuned for that one. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below, of course, as always. But yeah, I think this looks pretty cool. You get an armory with a lot of cool stuff. For $565, you're getting 2 separate figures. And of course, the armory itself, that's not bad. You have a lot of cool stuff that you can do with this armory with a lot of gadgets and fun stuff. So if you're a big Batman fan from The Dark Knight, which you know I am, Dark Knight's one of my favorite films of all time. I have a lot of Dark Knight stuff. So I can't wait for that Bane to come in. I think this one's exciting. I'm going to go A tier for this one. A tier on this one. So what we have here is the Hot Toys Kit Fisto for $275. This is one that was actually in what is referred to as the Hot Toys Graveyard, a figure that has been shown but never intended to be released, which Hot Toys does quite a bit of, unfortunately. And Kit Fisto was sitting in that purgatory realm for quite a while now. Hot Toys' Howard Chan sent him to the Shadow Realm, and somehow he returned. Somehow Kit Fisto returned, and he's back. And I think people are pretty excited about that. So $275 here. He's got a Clone Wars piece of armor there. I love how they always do that. They're like, he could be Clone Wars. We give him this little plastic white armor, and he's Clone Wars too, baby. So buy our figure. That's what they do. And it works. It honestly does work. And you know what? I'm not really complaining because I would never use that, but some people will. And I like that for you. I'm happy for you. So Kit Fisto is pretty cool. He does have a very squid look because he is squid-like. So he's Star Wars Squidward. That's what he is, really. And I think he looks pretty cool. There's a lot of detail in the eyes. You're not going to move the head very much, to be honest. But it's a pretty cool looking figure. I'm glad that it was made. Kit Fisto, to me, is kind of a sort of niche character. Like a lot of Star Wars fans absolutely love him. I know he's more important in things than others, but as far as the prequel trilogy is concerned, you know, he's kind of niche, right? So which is fine, but he's a great looking figure, and I think I'm excited for people to get this. He's gonna pop on a shelf. So for all those reasons, I think we gotta go B tier. He's pretty good. We're gonna go B tier for this one. So what we have here is another Hot Toys Iron Man. This is the Mark 7 black and gold version for $400, limited edition of 2,500 units. Guys, this is a C tier figure written all over it. Is it cool? Yes. Is it necessary? Not really. I think there's a lot of Iron Man armors out there. The Mark 7 is certainly one of the more iconic. It's the goated suit, in my opinion. I think it's the best Iron Man suit to date. I love what it means to me because of Avengers 1 and what that meant to me as a fan of Marvel and just comic book films in general. So yeah, it's black and gold. It's cool. The original Mark 7 I think is cooler. I think there are a lot of other Iron Man suits out there that are better and more unique than this one. This is more so for the people who are like, I need another Iron Man. This one's exclusive. I want something that's exclusive and unique, and you have it here, right? So for me, easy pass. I'm gonna go C tier. C tier all the way for this one. So here we have goated Wolverine. This is the Hot Toys Wolverine from Deadpool 3, the deluxe version for $340, standard version for $280, but you don't get the head sculpt. We're gonna look at the deluxe version because it has the Hugh Jackman head sculpt. This thing is absolutely incredible. Of course, you get the Wolverine mask if you want, and of course, you get the Hugh Jackman head sculpt, which I intend to be using. I'm definitely going to use that Hugh Jackman head sculpt. It's just too good to not use. This thing's incredible, guys. The suit, the film was great. The suit would look great in the film. It's Hugh Jackman in the iconic yellow Wolverine colors. And honestly, maybe his best performance acting to date, besides maybe Logan. Logan, he was really good too. But he actually showed some serious acting chops in this film. And I loved that. I loved seeing how good Wolverine was in this film. I think he kind of stole the show, to be honest. Deadpool was hilarious, but Wolverine was really, really good. He had a lot to do in this film and a lot of good dialogue and just character development, which I think was pretty cool. So I loved it. It was fun. This is just a cool looking Wolverine that's truly gonna pop on the shelf. One of the best head sculpts that's ever been made in a licensed capacity. Do we even need to say anymore? This is absolutely S tier. Every sense, it's S tier. Next up, the Hot Toys Droideka, $265. This one is actually a 25th anniversary for the Phantom Menace. So for prequels fans, you're gonna be pretty excited about this one. This is one that I didn't think actually would get made anytime soon. I've seen it on display in a couple videos and photos. It does look a little plasticky. I am a little bit worried about it. I think it's gonna stand fine, but I do think it could feel a bit cheap in hand. I think it's the type of figure that's gonna look really cool on display, but feel really cheap in your hand, which that's fine. I mean, if you're fine with that, that's fine. but you know, it is going to have a lot of shelf presence to it. So to me, at the end of the day, it truly comes down to, do you have the space to dedicate to this boy? And are you fine with it looking cool, but not feeling cool? That's really the goal there. And that really could be what it comes down to for you. So for me, cool looking. I don't know. We don't have it in hand yet, so it's hard to speculate. But for me, I'm gonna say B tier on this one. I think it's pretty good. I think we got to be fair and say it's pretty good. Let's give it a B tier. So what we have here is the Hot Toys Hono Studios Spider-Man, the symbiote suit for $175. This is a cloth suit compared to a more rubberized suit for the symbiote suit from the Spider-Man 2 video game. This one is more comic accurate, more again built to be entry level for collectors into 1/6 scale, and for comic book readers who are really excited to have this version and this iteration of Spider-Man. I think it's pretty cool. Again, it's cloth. It's not going to be for everyone. I think it's going to be somewhat lacking on the shelf in comparison to your other figures. I think you wouldn't want to put your Hono Studio figures next to your Hot Toys figures, to be honest, because I do think they are going to pale in comparison and bring down the quality level just a little bit. They almost deserve their own separate display, like their own display case or DTOF or whatever the case may be that can have these on display. I think it looks pretty cool. He comes with some good web accessories. I think there's a lot here to like, but I just don't think it's that exciting based on the fabric choice and just how the figure is going to look on the shelf. I think this one's going to be a C tier. We're going to have to go C tier. So we have the beloved ARC Trooper Echo for $275 on Sideshow. This is from the Clone Wars. Of course, you have a Tamora Morrison head sculpt, and of course, Echo himself with his iconic armor and look, and his pauldron, his blue pauldron is pretty cool. You know, again, I've said I love pauldron, so you learned that in this video. I said in a stream that I thought these were just another set of troopers, Echo and Fives. We'll talk about Fives next, but apparently they're a lot more than that. People are very excited about these, and they love the look. Sideshow made versions that went absolutely bonkers on the aftermarket. So I've come around and I've said, you know what? People love these figures, and I don't love them, but people love them. And I come to recognize that they are important to a lot of people, and they do look pretty cool. So when I'm considering what this means for everyone, how the figures are going to look on the shelf, you know what we're going to say? I'm going to redeem myself. We're going to go A tier. A tier for Echo today. There you go. And here we have Hot Toys ARC Trooper 5s, $275 as well. Also a really cool looking figure, very similar to the figure that you just saw from Echo, but slightly different because he's his own character. People have told me, yes, sure, very different. Night and day, right? I don't know. You know what we're gonna say? We're gonna say A tier. A tier, just to save time, because you know what? Everyone loves it. That's great. A tier. And what we have here is another Hot Toys exclusive Iron Man, $400 for the Iron Man Mark III red and chrome version. Guys, this is another Iron Man. It's taking another iconic suit, giving it sort of a new paint application and slapping an exclusive tag on it. People go crazy for that, but not me. I love the Mark III. It's one of the best suits in existence. It's super iconic. But this version just doesn't speak to me, and I don't think it speaks to collectors in the way that it needs to. It comes across a little bit like a cash grab, which is fine. I'm fine with Hot Toys doing that. They're a business after all. But at the end of the day, how excited am I going to get about that when I know what the true intent is here? We got to go D tier for this one. I'm just not feeling it. So what we have here is the Hono Studios Wolverine in his iconic brown suit for $160. I do think people really like this one. Hono made this figure in a standard blue and yellow Wolverine suit. And of course, they released an exclusive brown and yellow version here that I think people went crazy for. So I'm glad, because people really love the brown and yellow suit. And you could see a Hugh Jackman version based on what we saw in the film from Deadpool 3. Who knows if we're going to see that version from Hot Toys anytime in the near future. But in the meantime, for $160, this is pretty cool. The original Wolverine was pretty solid. Again, it's Hono Studios, entry-level 1/6. It gives you a nice introduction. It's for comic book fans. I think this achieves what it's supposed to. We're going to go ahead and give this one a B. I think this one is cooler than Magneto and Spider-Man, so I think this one deserves a little bit of a higher score. We're going to go B on this one. So what we have here is a Hot Toys Pinocchio bust they released that was an exclusive. I don't know what the fuck it cost. I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know why the fuck they made it. There's a million different questions that I have here, so I don't know what else to say besides this is D tier. I want to rank this as low as possible because I don't know what good I have to say about it. We're gonna go D tier. So we're looking at the Hot Toys Deadpool 3 figure, the special edition with the golden guns for $315. There is a collector's edition for the same price, but the special edition is pretty cool. You get the base, which I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest, but I do love that you get the golden gun. So I'm very excited about that. I don't love that they included a picture of the base here, and then they said, you know what, you're not getting that base, you're only getting the exclusive one. It is what it is. I'm very happy about this Deadpool figure. It looks phenomenal from the people who do have it in hand. I don't have it just yet. I do have a couple orders in for it, so I am very excited about that. process of receiving it, this is the best Deadpool, hands down. Costume design, just overall design of the figure and engineering, I think it's awesome. The gold guns, this is the best Deadpool film in my opinion. So I think overall this is a win in every sense. I can't wait to be displaying this guy in my collection. So guys, there's so much good to say and very little bad to say. I gotta say this is an S tier figure. I think it's an iconic character, the best look for that character. Let's say S tier. Okay, so this is the Hot Toys Darth Maul hologram for $150. And you know what? It's an exclusive 1,500 unit run. I was actually kind of sold on this one. When JC Hong posted a photo, I said, you know what, JC? You kind of got me. That's kind of a cool looking hologram. And I jumped in the queue, had it in my cart. I almost bought it. Thank God my inner gut and instinct took over and said, no, Will, you don't want this. I don't think it's going to be good. And I was right, actually. I got lucky. I did think it was going to be good when I said it on the live stream. But you know what? I'm revising history. And I'm saying that I think it was going to be bad. I knew it all along. No, I didn't know, honestly. But it did turn out bad. Let's say that. And the light up feature is pretty terrible. It looks okay when it's not lit up, but the whole point is having it lit up. It's a hologram. You want to light it up, right? And it doesn't look that great, unfortunately. So with all that said, it's a Darth Maul hologram. It doesn't look good. It was limited, sure. D tier. D tier all day. So what we have here is the Hot Toys Artisan Edition Joker, the Batman Imposter version for $445. And this is actually already out. So a couple of these figures like the Darth Maul hologram and other things like that have actually released, the exclusive ones. And this is actually the first artisan figure to hit the market to be released by Hot Toys. And it actually came out really good. I saw a lot of videos showcasing it and people did a really good job reviewing it and showing how good the head sculpt is. The hair looks great. The likeness looks great. This is a very unique looking Joker. It's based off a cosplay from my understanding. So pretty cool. It's not the artisan figure that I want. I want the regular Joker. I want the original Joker. I can't wait for that one. But I gotta say, this is pretty cool. It's pretty unique. It has a really good head sculpt with good rooted hair. So for the people who really want this type of figure, I think this one is gonna be worthwhile. It's an artisan figure, so they got me by the balls already. I'm interested. It's premium. So we're gonna say A for this one. We're gonna go A tier. I'm gonna surprise the chat. A tier on this one. So we got the exclusive Hot Toys Clone Commander Scorch here for $270, limited edition of 3,000. This is a figure that people were very excited for. He made his introduction back in a video game a long time ago, but they labeled this one as Bad Batch. I've not watched Bad Batch as of yet. I have heard that Bad Batch is a great show, but that Clone Commander Scorch did not quite get the ceremonious ending that maybe people were hoping for, or maybe even the character arc that people were looking forward to for his character in the show. Nonetheless, the figure looks pretty cool. Again, kind of Halo-like to me. I think it's pretty solid. It's not going to be a figure that I'm going to be super high on, but I think a lot of people are. And I think a lot of people want this character that Hot Toys determined was niche that I think ended up not quite being that. So I'm going to surprise some people. We're going to go A for this one, just because he's very important in the Star Wars culture. And I think we need to go A for that. So what we have here are the Hot Toys and Wolverine life-size figures. So these are life-size statues. So what we have here are the Hot Toys Deadpool and Wolverine from Deadpool 3 life-size statues. So these are statues that probably 15 people bought, right? They're very expensive. They were never actually sold on Sideshow. I don't even know where you would find these. Pretty difficult to locate. Nonetheless, they are actual announcements for 2024, so we do have to count them, and they are pretty cool. They're just not going to be for most of us. I think at the end of the day, it's not normally Hot Toys' thing to make life-size. That's what they do for events to flex and things like that. But for most collectors who collect 1/6, that's what you know Hot Toys for. That's what you love them for. This is not that important. Do they look cool? Yeah. Are they really that relevant in the market? Not really for most people. So you know what? We're gonna go C. We're gonna go C tier for this one. So what we have here is the Hot Toys Iron Man Mark 42, the deluxe special edition. It comes with some exclusive accessories, $490. There is a deluxe version for also $490, a special edition for $450. Just depends on which version you prefer. This is a 2.0. This is a really cool looking armor. It is from Iron Man 3. I actually love this armor. I wish it were more significant to me because I love the look of this armor. I love the aesthetics of it. The battle damage on it is incredible. The head sculpt is really good. One of the best Tony Stark head sculpts, albeit still not perfect. I think it's like about an 8.5, right? I think it can be improved a little bit, but I do think it looks pretty good. It just, Iron Man 3 is not my favorite Iron Man film. I do think the film was a little bit of a disappointment. It's probably one of the weaker Marvel films in general. But the suit here looks incredible. Hot Toys did amazing things with this figure, and I do love the updates here to the proportions, the scaling, all of it. It just looks more lifelike, and I think Hot Toys did something pretty remarkable here. The base is awesome. The head sculpt, again, is awesome. The battle damage parts is what I would use. I think that's pretty cool as well. You know what? I got to give this one an A tier, guys. We got to go A tier. This is really cool, and I can't ignore that. A tier. So now we're looking at the Hot Toys, the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, the Artisan Edition for $460, and then a Sculpted Edition for $340. We're gonna look at the Artisan Edition because I think that one is more interesting. So $460. No one ever thought Hot Toys would make this. This is a figure that people thought, okay, InArt's making that. Hot Toys doesn't give a fuck. They don't care. Well, they came through eventually and said, you know what? We do care because there's a new Joker film. We're going to make the original one, and we're going to price it a lot cheaper than InArt with that whole drama that went on. And now you have an artisan version and, of course, a collector's edition that's sculpted. And I do think it looks pretty good. The likeness is good, not great. I do think the InArt is a little bit better. But overall, if you really just wanted the one figure, you wanted the red suit Joker, then it's hard to say that this is a bad figure. I do think Hot Toys should make improvements to the head sculpt and the overall tailoring and the hair and all of it. But overall, it's still pretty good right now. The base is actually really good. I think this base is probably better than the one that InArt's offering as of now. And I do think, again, for the people who just wanted one Joker, this is going to be a great option for you. This film is iconic. Not a film that you want to watch 15 times in a row. It's pretty dark and depressing. I'm still excited for the second one to come out, but you know what? I think we got to go A tier for this one. A tier. This is a really good figure. So we're looking at the Hot Toys General Grievous, $370. There is a special edition that came with a Darkseid coin. Guys, this is a figure that none of us would ever thought would be made. This is a figure that we thought maybe Hot Toys can't figure out a way to make the joints sustainable long term, because Sideshow's version, the joints are a floppy mess. The figure doesn't really seem to stand very well. Just the engineering of the figure is very difficult. And if anyone could do it, it's Hot Toys. And they have actually done it. You got lightsaber powered by USB. You got, of course, die cast components, which we're going to look at here because Hot Toys labels and marks them. But this figure looks phenomenal. You can put the cape on him. You can choose not to put the cape on him. It's totally your choice. This thing is incredible. I think this is a must-have for Star Wars fans if you're a fan of the prequels at all, which to me, again, I am a fan of Revenge of the Sith and I love the character of Grievous, so this was an absolute dopo for me. You can see the die-cast metal parts here marked in red. That's super exciting. Guys, this is S tier. S tier all the way. This is going to be one of the best Star Wars figures ever made. I'm calling it right now. Now we're looking at the Hot Toys Black Widow, the Artisan Edition. There was a special edition with an Iron Man exclusive gauntlet and a collector's edition where you didn't have that. $385. The price is the same regardless. The Iron Man gauntlet, you can see there, goes over the left arm, which is pretty cool. This is the best Scarlett Johansson Black Widow head sculpt, bar none. I don't even think it's particularly close at this point. The rooted hair actually looks pretty good. This is the Iron Man 2 Black Widow look, which I think is an iconic look in its own right. Maybe they'll do other Black Widows from other films at some point in the artisan format. We're going to see, only time will tell. But as of now, this is the definitive Black Widow that's being offered. I think it's awesome. The best head sculpt, again, the best likeness, the best hair. You have a magnetic base, which is pretty cool. A beautifully tailored outfit. Again, if you're a Black Widow fan, this is one you're probably going to want to pick up. For me, I'm not that big of a Black Widow person. I like Black Widow. She's good, just not essential to me. So easy pass. But if I'm looking at it objectively, I got to say this is an S tier figure. So another artisan figure we're looking at here, the Hot Toys Iron Spider. There is an artisan version with a rooted wool hair Tom Holland head sculpt, and you have a collector's edition that is not exclusive at all, that has a sculpted hair head sculpt if you don't care as much about the rooted hair. Let's look at the artisan version because, again, it's more exciting. 3,500 units worldwide. You can see here, it looks really great. This is actually from Endgame. It's kind of an Iron Spider 2.0, but the original Iron Spider was from Infinity War. This one's from Endgame, so they didn't have to mark it as a 2.0 technically, because it is a slightly different suit. And of course, you have a wool rooted head sculpt that is new to this figure. It looks incredible. The Tom Holland likenesses, I feel like, are getting better and better with each release. The final swing new red and blue suit one is already incredible. That's an amazing head sculpt, one of the best I've ever seen. And this one really dials it up another notch. You got a little bit of battle damage on him, which I think is pretty cool because this is Endgame and all out war for the sake of the universe at this point. So I think it's pretty cool. You get, of course, the nano gauntlet with the stones in it. It's a cool looking Iron Spider suit. It's not going to be for me, but it is a really cool looking suit. So you know what? I think I gotta go A tier. I'm not excited about Iron Spider necessarily. I am interested in getting it for review purposes and maybe holding on to it if I really like it in person. But I think we got to go A tier because looking at the figure and its presence, and of course its iconography and how iconic it is as a suit, I think we got to go A tier for this one. So what we have here is the Hot Toys Battle Damage Darth Vader. There's multiple versions that come with different accessories, but the deluxe version exclusive $430 comes with a ton of stuff. And the special edition accessory is this little mask, half broken mask faceplate that slides over the existing open head sculpt mask that you can go on there. With this cape, it is a fully sculpted cape that you can see here that attaches to the back and it flows, has a lot of presence to it. You got a raised base with LED light up, USB light up lightsaber. It's pretty cool. Multiple battle damage parts here. You can see burnt skin, open flesh wounds, cybernetic parts, everything under the sun that you would want. This thing is absolutely incredible. There's the Obi-Wan head sculpt, which looks great. You can use that one. I'm absolutely getting this. This is Force Unleashed, so it's going to go in my video game case. It's not labeled Force Unleashed, but that's absolutely what it is. And you get also a tattered fabric cape as well, which I'll probably end up using that one, to be honest, because I think the sculpted one is just going to take up too much room. We're going to see in my display if I can make it work, but this head sculpt, the likeness to Hayden Christensen is awesome. Hayden Christensen, it's just absolutely awesome. I love how this looks. You get a regular Darth Vader helmet as well, which is also pretty cool, which I kind of love. I might end up using that one, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, guys, this thing's incredible. It's so unique. It just has a lot of cool details and intricacies that I think are just very unique to this figure. There's the light up base, you can see. I think we got to go S tier, guys. This is an S tier figure. It's absolutely awesome. All right, so this is the Hot Toys Wolverine Thirst Trap TVA jacket version, $310. This one comes with a seamless upper body, as you can see. Fully seamless shoulders, arms, all that good stuff. This is the scene that replicates the end of the film, where Wolverine and Deadpool are saving the universe, and of course, Wolverine's costume rips and his abs come out. So it's kind of this over-the-top thing, and you have this TVA jacket that you can put on him as well. But if you're buying this figure, I can't assume that you're going to put the TVA jacket on him. You're probably going to have him shirtless. I just think this figure, while amazing, it has a ton of detail and a really unique custom body. I don't find it super essential for most people's collections. And I do think if you're going to get one Wolverine, it's probably not this one. This one is more of an accessory piece. And you're probably going to end up getting the regular Wolverine, which I think is a little bit better of a figure and a little bit more iconic. So I do think this one's incredible, though. And I do got to be fair to it. So I think what we're going to say is B tier. I think it's good, just not that important overall, not that essential. But I'm glad it exists for people who want it. This is Hot Toys Ladypool, $280. This one is actually already released in some markets. This is from Deadpool 3, from the end of the film, when all the Deadpool variants come out of the portal and show up. And of course, Blake Lively shows up as, you know, the Ladypool here. So this one, to me, cool looking figure. Again, a very inessential figure. I'm not necessarily feeling like this one is super crucial, but I do think it's a good figure overall. And it does come from a film that's now made over $1.2 billion, one of the highest grossing Marvel films in recent years for sure. And actually the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, which is pretty exciting. And I'm really excited to see what the future of R-rated cinema is going to be for the comic book genre based on how well Deadpool has performed. Nonetheless, cool looking figure. I just don't find it that interesting myself, but I gotta be fair and objective and say, you know what? B tier. Let's go B tier for Ladypool. Hot Toys Kidpool, $240. This is a Deadpool variant again, the Kidpool version from the film. He comes with a couch, which I guess is kind of cool. This is a very, very niche figure. This is one that's going to be for a select number of people who want every Deadpool variant and just love Deadpool 3. I can't foresee this being a super popular figure. I don't know. People are going to have to show me over time what they're feeling about it. I don't think there's too much more I can say about it. It's kind of cool, but very uninteresting to me. So I'm going to go C tier, very mid for this one. We have a Hot Toys Chewbacca with disassembled C-3PO, $430. This is from The Empire Strikes Back and a really cool figure. The best Chewbacca figure that's ever been made. $430 does seem a little bit cheap. I do think a lot of that price is coming from, of course, the C-3PO, which is a light up LED function, and the fact that Chewbacca is a big character and he's fully made of hair over the top layer. So there's a lot of styling involved, a lot of hair that goes into that. So I do think that overall, this is a figure that I think is fairly priced. Nonetheless, this is the best Chewbacca that's ever been made as far as prototype is concerned. We're going to see how the final product turns out, but I'm actually very hopeful for this one. I dopoed this. I cannot wait to add this one to my collection. I think he's going to have a lot of presence on the shelf, and he's obviously a very important integral Star Wars character for most displays. So for me, I can't wait to get this one in my display. I think it looks great. Movable eyes, a lot of cool different hairstylings and different shadings here. I think it looks great. We're going to go ahead and say A tier for this one. A tier. This is a really, really good figure. So this is the Hono Studios Iron Man for $215. Guys, this is one that I personally am not a huge fan of. For comic book fans, they really are loving this one. It's not for me. I do think it looks a little bit toyish. I think this is probably the weakest Hono Studios figure I've seen thus far. Again, I'm happy for comic book fans that are getting a figure that's a little bit cheaper than most Hot Toys. But when you look at $215, that's pretty close to getting it at Hot Toys prices at that point. And when you're getting to maybe add about $60, $70 to get a really, really good Hot Toys figure, and then looking at this one, I just think this one pales in comparison. So for me, I gotta say this is D tier. figure, I'm really just not feeling this one. So what we have here is the Hot Toys Beetlejuice from the new Beetlejuice film, which is performing very well at the box office actually. $330 for this one. You have rooted hair, and of course you have a really well-tailored outfit with a lot of weathering to it. This is old Beetlejuice, obviously old Michael Keaton compared to the original Beetlejuice, so it's not going to be for everyone just based on that. You do have two head sculpts, one with the eyes popping out and one normal one, where you can move and adjust the eyeballs on the normal version. And you have a really cool diorama base, which kind of adds to that $330 cost, which really makes this figure, I think, pretty unique. I think this one's going to be really cool in a lot of people's collections. I think this is going to be a popular one. It's not the Beetlejuice that everyone wants because a lot of people want the original. Nonetheless, beggars can't be choosers, right? We're still getting a great Beetlejuice. You can get the sideshow one, I guess, if you want the other one, the original version, but I think Hot Toys clearly has the superior figure here, as long as you feel comfortable with getting the older version. This figure is absolutely awesome, guys. I mean, I got to be fair about this one. I think it's a B. I think it's not the Beetlejuice that everyone wanted, but it is a really good Beetlejuice. So for that reason and the quality considered, I'm gonna have to say a B on this one. So guys, we have the T800 Battle Damage version 2.0 here from Hot Toys for $350. This is an absolute work of art. The original one, the DX13, was a work of art. It's stunning. It's one of the best head sculpts ever made in licensed capacity and still holds true to this day. Now you have genuine leather materials, new accessories insofar as the guns, a light up base, which is LED USB powered, which is super exciting, new paint applications, a new head sculpt, better tailoring all around. This thing is phenomenal. The original was phenomenal. I still have it, and this one improves it in every way. This is a god tier figure. This is an S tier every way about it. This one is absolutely S tier. I can't say enough good things about it. Just incredible. I want to buy two of these, to be honest, but I'm just kind of holding out because I think they might announce a clean version too, and I'll get that instead. But I absolutely got this on pre-order. Guys, S tier all the way. All right, so let's recap everything. You can see at the top, we have Darth Revan, we have Starkiller, we have Darth Maul, we have Jack Sparrow, Loki, Wolverine, Deadpool, Grievous, we have Black Widow, we have Terminator, and of course, we have the Battle Damage Darth Vader. And in the A tier, you can see we have the Palpatine Darth Sidious, we have the Batman Armory 2.0, you have, of course, their Echo and Fives, you have the Batman Imposter, you have Clone Commander Scorch, Joker Artisan, the Joaquin version, the Mark 42, the Iron Spider, and Chewbacca. Then in the B tier, this one's quite extensive. You have the DeLorean Time Machine from Back to the Future 3, Han Solo Return of the Jedi, Superior Suit Spider-Man, Shin Hati, you have a Balin Skull, Anakin Skywalker from Ahsoka, the Batman Armor 2.0, Stormtrooper with Death Star, of course the Trooper with the Death Star environment, the Shadow Trooper 2.0, and you have the Arc Trooper as well, 000, Kit Fisto, the Artisan Luke Skywalker. You have the Droideka, you have the Brown Suit Wolverine from Hono, and you have the TVA version, shirtless Thirst Trap Wolverine, Ladypool, and then Beetlejuice. Now on the C tier, we have Black Manta, we have Ahsoka Padawan, we have the Clone Commando, the Super Commando, the Darth Maul helmeted version. You have the Hono Studios Magneto, you have the Gold Chrome Trooper, you have the Imperial Commando, you have Obi-Wan, you have the Black and Gold Iron Man Mark 7, and then of course you have the Hono Studios Symbiote Spider-Man, the two life-size Wolverine and Deadpool statues, and Kidpool in the C tier. And finally D tier, we have Ash, of course we have BT1, we have the Kamen Rider, we have Chrome Cody, we have the Red and Chrome Mark III, the Pinocchio bust of whatever the fuck that was, and then the Darth Maul hologram, and then the Hono Studios comic book Iron Man. So guys, quite a list. We went through all the announcements so far, and I'm excited to see the announcements from Hot Toys for the rest of the year. But pretty crazy, guys. Pretty crazy. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Those are my tiered rankings for every announcement from Hot Toys in 2024 thus far. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you don't miss any content when it goes live here. Make sure to comment down below. Let me know what you agree with me on. Let me know where you disagree. And let me know what you're hoping Hot Toys announces for the rest of the year. That said, guys, thank you so much for the support as always. I will catch you in the next video. Peace out. See you later. Bye.